Welcome to This Week in Loveland Tigers Athletics here on lovelandtigers.org and ESP Media powered by Sidearm Sports. My name is Jason Griever. As always, we're joined by Loveland Athletic Director Brian Knatzer. We also have a very special guest joining us here today and a girls track coach, Herb Loftman. Coach, good to have you with us. We certainly appreciate some of your time here. Brian, we'll spend most of the show today talking with Coach Loftman about his program, where they've been up to this point, and where we're going here in the next couple of weeks. But Brian, let me get started with you here, and let's dive into some of your other athletic programs right now. And let's start off with girls lacrosse. They're playing very, very well right now. In fact, stands the only unbeaten team left in the ECC right now. So playing very, very well. You get Indian Hill today, so a non-league matchup there before a road trip to Anderson on Thursday. I'm looking at the league standings right now, and looking at things, there's only 3 league games left, so you're right there for the league title. But looking at the stats, you have 3 of the top 4 scorers in the league, 4 of the top 5 in assists, and goalie Maggie Nance is second in saves. So you're playing very well on both sides of the ball here. What have the coaches said about the fact that you've had all-around strong play really since the start of the season?
Well, Jason, first of all, thanks for having us, and hello to Tiger Nation out there. I want to say that, and that's a great question. I think I answered that question with how you led into this. I mean, let's talk about this past week and how these girls lacrosse team went to Olentangy and won 16-6. The stats of that game, which we might not be able to see here, but there were 13 assists in the 16 goals, 13 different assists, 16 goals. So, I mean, that tells you right there that we've got a lot of girls that can move the ball around, a lot of girls that can score. We've got, just Carly Wilhoit, who has, 50, the draw controls. So right off the get-go, we get the draw control, or she does. We're able to pass it along, drive in the assist, put in the goal, and these girls can, and it's a lot of different names. Like you said, you go in the top 10 list of scorers. You got Wanger, Will Hoyt, Josie Storm, Abby Miller, Despakakis. I mean, there's so many different names that are contributing to these scores and these assists, and the saves with Maggie Nance. I think all those contributing factors. Look, I want to be honest with you, it's a great team. It's a fun team to watch. They have played the all-out best competition all over the state. It's not just local. We've gone to Cleveland. We've gone to Columbus. They've came here. So I think it's a great, kind of situation leading into, as you said, really getting through the middle of the season into the postseason. These girls are prepared. They're excited. They're fun to watch. So, hey, let's go.
Boys is kind of similar story on the other side. They're 3-0 in the ECC, one of 3 teams unbeaten right now after beating Winton Woods 18-0 on Monday. You look at the schedule and you can't help but look forward to the weekend when you've got Milford coming up here. And Milford, as you said, they're 4-0 at the top of the league right now. Of course, they also have Anderson coming up as well. But we can't help but look forward to that Milford match right there. And you look at this thing right there, another situation where you've got a chance for a league title, but the number of games left are dwindling. So I'm wondering, as they're heading in, particularly with this Milford matchup, let's focus on that. What's the team's confidence level heading into that one, knowing they're going to play another team that's going to be right there for the league title?
Well, they're going to get excited about this, and I'm going to also ditto on this. They just like the girls, they're playing the best teams in the state. They just came from Springboro, yet they lost to Springboro, but they've competed and played against some of the best teams in this region and in this area. And I think that helps prepare. Coach Riggle is focused, yes, on the ECC, but he's also focused on that postseason, what he can build confidence in and just allow the kids to, everyone playing a part. And you see the names again with the draw control, our face-off guy, Sam Niger, who's done an awesome job. If you get that draw control, all of a sudden you have the ball and you've got, kids that can score with Mulligan and Wilborn, who, does an outstanding job. And you got a big, tall, physical Ethan Lund, and defense that leads to over 33 turnovers. And the saves that Will Westermeyer is able to accomplish. You get the ball in those scorers' hands, and those kids are able to do that to build confidence, understand where they belong in this game. And they can move the ball around, just like we mentioned for the girls. Yeah, that, we don't want to obviously overlook Anderson, but yeah, Milford is a tough team. I think our kids match up to them well. I think we edge them out a little bit, and I think they're going to go there with a little chip on the shoulder. They've got the experience, and they've got the ECC championship on their mind. So it'll be fun to watch.
And both teams really in good positions right there. Let's move on to another team that's playing very, very well, and that's your volleyball team. 11-2 on the year after 3 really nice wins over the weekend against Mason, McNick, and Fairmont. Right now, sitting ranked 6th in the South region in Ohio. You've got a busy week coming up: West Claremont, Lakota West, and Milford right now. Coming off of the performances on Saturday in which they get 3 wins over 3 good teams, what's clicking so well for this team at this point?
They're a bunch of tall kids that are very powerful. They work well together. Coach Swenson's done a good job at just working with these kids over the years, and they're excited to be there. They want to win. And Jason, that was a great quad match that we hosted here against teams like Mason and Kettering Fairmont and McNick. I mean, those were wins. We went to 3 sets on some of them, but just to see the hops that these guys have, that they come off of the ground and are able just to dominate at the net. And I think that's really the key. Eric Keltson, who is the athlete of the week, these numbers: 10.7 kills per game with 2.3 blocks. And Tyler Miller-Bross with 11 blocks and 17 kills in the 4 matches last week. So what a duo those guys are. You got servers, you got all types of supports around those guys. So they're getting it done.
And a busy week ahead. We'll be checking on them on next week's program. Let's switch gears and let's move up. Let's talk about tennis today. Big one today for the boys tennis team. They're up in Mason in the ECC championships, trying to defend a title from a couple of years ago. It's been a tough road, though, the last few matches out. They're on a 3-match losing streak and have been swept in all of them. Anderson in there, of course, they've been excellent all year long. They ran the table in the regular season in the ECC, but nevertheless, still a chance for redemption here today up in Mason, a chance to defend that title as well. What have the coaches said about trying to get things turned around and get things really just shored up before they headed up to Mason today to compete?
Well, I think that says a lot about the ECC, that it's that competitive. And I was there this morning watching the kids get them sent off. You talk about going around to all the matches. I watched Aiden Callahan for a little bit, Ethan Sprawl, who's on our second court today, and then you go to Ethan Libby. Wow, that is some fast play against kids that they've already been in competition with, and I think that's what it is. It's learn from your mistakes. You've played these kids all before. You understand, what their style is. You understand what you have to do to put yourself in a position. And that's the conversations that I hear the coaching staff, Coach Pittman, Coach Capsicavage, I hear that's what they're saying to those kids. And then, you're watching, the doubles, our first doubles as well. So, they know there's no secrets anymore. They know who these guys are. They know their style of play. And what a great day, Jason, to be up at Mason. It's beautiful, 80 degrees, low wind. You couldn't you couldn't dial in a better day. So obviously, we're hoping for the best for our kids today.
Yeah, really good day out there. And the only thing that'd be better is bringing home that trophy. So we'll see what happens there. Now let's move in to our feature segment here with our special guest, girls track coach Herb Loftman. Coach, we certainly appreciate some of your time here today. And let's talk about kind of the recent run your team's been on. Last weekend, an excellent showing at the Anderson Invite. Multiple school records and PRs go down in that event, coming off of winning the 51st Colerain Invitational, which is like the longest running event in Greater Cincinnati. You go win that there. I want to talk about a couple of your runners individually, the Jesse Gibbons and Madison Knatzer, who each broke records in the 800 there. Talk to us about their performances as of late.
Well, I couldn't start with those two without saying a special thank you to Coach Nestor, who is the long distance coach. Everything that you talked about right there, Jason, is a credit to our staff. It has to start with them first. So I couldn't go any further about talking to those long distance athletes without bringing up Steve Nestor. So he's been a great addition the last couple of years. He has those girls buying in. They ran with just passion, and it's rare that you watch an athlete break the 800 record and the one that finished right behind her was going to break her record. So a credit to our our girls, the depth that we have. And again, it's just full accolades go for them to buy into the passion that Nestor brings to that, and all of our coaches.
Looking at this roster that you have, and I look at the ECC leaderboards through all the different disciplines, the short distance, the long distance, and so on and so forth there. And the leaderboards are peppered with Loveland Tigers from top to bottom in all the different disciplines. But one of the things that has stood out to me all season long is that you're getting so much production from the underclassmen, in particular the freshmen and sophomores, that you're asking to step into the varsity level. In a lot of cases, maybe all of them for the very first time, and they're doing what they're doing every single meet out there. How have you been able to get such production out of such young kids who are seeing this varsity experience for the first time?
Well, again, it's a credit to our coaching staff, and it is amazing to have a relationship with our middle school coach, John Waple. So we're out there every day together, talking, building, and this is a culture. This is a program. It's 7-12, and sometimes that's rare when you talk to other schools or other programs. But at Loveland, it is 7-12, and we help each other and feed each other. And when they come in as freshmen, we don't look at them as freshmen. We next one up, here we go, and that's a credit to the culture that has taken some time to build around here. But again. Yeah. The coaching staff has done a great job of finding these kids, and they've done a great job of buying in, and it has been great. It is added to our depth. And you talked earlier about the Colerain Invitational, and then turn around to Anderson. I mean, we ran multiple lineups at those meets. So it's just, we're still picking and moving some pieces around. So, and again, the girls I've bought in. So that's number one. And then surrounding them with good coaches that care outside of myself, that they deserve all the credit.
Brian, what's that been like for you? The coach mentioned the relationship that you have at the middle school level with really trying to combine essentially and have a athletic program that runs 7 through 12. How important is that to the success that you've had with so many young kids coming in to the high school level under Coach Loftman and been able to produce right away?
It's the determining factor. You're able to create an opportunity for your kids, your 7th and 8th grade kids. And you know, our middle school AD, Jason Bruce, does a great job with that too. We're always in the conversation. Everyone's always a part of, you know, the hiring process or you know, working with one another for workouts. And those kids want to come. They practice up here on our track. So guess what? Once they go from that 8th grade to 9th grade level, they want to run on that track as varsity athletes. So it's something that we just try to breed, and the coaches do an excellent job just breeding and breeding and breeding. You know, hey, how important it is to be a Tiger running at the Don DeHart Invite, which is coming up, you know, this week. What that's like. And what it feels like, and it just being part of the community. It's a great event. And I will say, throw back to Coach. He hasn't mentioned her yet, but we did have the female player of the week, right? Isn't that what the title was, Coach?
Yep.
So
yeah.
Miss Bryans.
Yeah, Maya Bryans is a special athlete, so absolutely. So this, again, one of those that have bought in. I met her in 7th and 8th grade, and she has just bought in, an incredible athlete, and made it a lot of fun to coach. And sometimes we just stay out of her way, but she is special. And Jason, real quick, and I'll end it with this point. In order for
Sure.
those things to happen, you have to have a supportive athletic director, and we have that. So not only with Brian, who's been amazing and helps us get things that we need to be successful, constant meetings with him, picking each other's brains. It's been absolutely amazing. It takes so much stress off the coaches that we know that he has our back and is watching over us and giving us the tools that we need. And then that's allowed us to work with the middle school and have practices together. And again, building that culture and that relationship so that when they get into high school, they know who we are and they're not intimidated one bit. They just know, okay, now I got to step this up a bit. So credit to Jason Bruce and especially Brian Knatzer, our athletic directors.
Well, I appreciate that, but even to say, you know, there's athletes like Maya Bryans. What were her 4 events? So 300, which you have the 100 hurdles.
Yeah, she's in the 100 hurdles, high jump, long jump, and then again, she's such a special athlete. We're trying to figure out which what her fourth event would be. Either that's the 300 hurdles or the open 200. So again,
you led me right into my next thing here, gentlemen, because I'm looking at the ECC leaderboards right now. She leads the ECC in the 200-meter dash by more than a second. She's number one in the 100-meter high hurdles by more than a second. She leads the 300-meter IM hurdles by almost a second, leads the long jump by about a foot, and then leads the high jump by about 6 inches. I mean, this is insane. As you said, Coach, how good of an athlete she is. And you've had a chance to work with her, as you said, from the 7th and 8th grade level. Talk to me about her development throughout her career now, and as her career is starting to come to a close here at Loveland, since she is a senior.
Well, and she's one of many athletes that have a passion and a drive. So we just open doors. So we really boosted the indoor program here, the indoor track over the winter seasons. And it has caused amazing accolades for our girls. We were actually in there working out 2 or 3 years ago, and our hurdle coach went, "Do you think Maya Bryans would look good going over a hurdle?" And we went, "Well, let's give her a hurdle." She went over 2 hurdles, and we all looked at each other, and the rest is history. But that couldn't be done if they didn't have the drive or passion, and then we meet them halfway. So, hey, we'll go ahead and start these indoor track programs. We'll go to these meets over the winter and in December and January when everybody else is sitting at home, because they want to be coached, they want to be pushed. And it's people like Maya who have taken this program to another level because of that. And I think the girls see that and they want to follow that kind of drive and passion.
The conference leader in 5 different disciplines, the dash, the hurdles, long jump, high jump, as you said, a really, really phenomenal athlete here. Brian, let me go back to you. It's something you mentioned that's coming up here on the schedule this coming Friday, the Dawn DeHart invite out at Loveland High School. Tell us about the event right here, just in general, and from your side here, how things are going to run logistically, and we'll get Coach's thoughts on what he's expecting from the team and performance-wise.
Yeah, so we've got a number of ECC schools coming. We also have a few GMC schools, Princeton and Sycamore. And I mean, really, it's going to be a high level. We have a total of 12 different teams coming, boys and girls, and it will be extremely competitive. Much like the Anderson was competitive as well. This one is, I mean, the amount of athletes that are going to be in this venue is fantastic. I mean, Jason, before I talk about the logistics, what that looks like, but just
Sure.
to throw out a couple of names like, Ryan Chevalier. This is at the Anderson. I just want to say how incredible these athletes are. Ryan Chevalier, who runs the second fastest running in school history to 1600, runs a 4:21. And the 11th place, Caden Dyer, in the 1600 runs a 4:37. So 11th place gets a 4:37 in the 1600. I can't believe how fast this region is. And a lot of
I can't drive that fast.
I'm telling you. So I think there's even going to be more competition, coming with this as well, to this meet. I mean, it's, you got some field events like, Gabe Ogden, who's throwing 44.9 and 131.9 and shot and disc, Dylan Schwinn, who's long jumping 19.2, Brady Steiner, AJ Stutz. These guys are doing amazing things. And to know that competition's coming here is going to elevate everyone else's competition. It's going to be a great Friday night. The weather looks great. So we're excited about that. Logistically, we're going to have, because this has been, as Herb and I have talked about this all, pretty much from middle of winter on. Logistically, What does this look like? We're going to have a staging area for athletes. We've got warm-up areas. We still have to social distance and make sure people are masked up. We do have to put a cap on how many people can come to the event. We have certain workers. So logistically, without the liaisons of our boys and girls track team who go and get the volunteers, and then obviously this department, Christy Brillport, who gets the officials, the timers. We have 5 officials coming. We have a timing system coming. We have a couple gate workers as well, along with the volunteers. We got, a lot of walkie-talkies. So just the coordination of that over and over. It'll be all the way up to the meet. It's also our senior night. So we're very excited to showcase our seniors, both for the girls and the boys. So that starts at 4:00. We'll just be leading them out and showcasing their families. And then by 4:30, our field event starts. By 5:00, we're running on the track. And it will be a great Don DeHart event like it is. The DeHarts will be selling certain baked goods and canned goods for the scholarship to honor Don DeHart. And so we're really looking forward to it. It's a great event. And, I'm just glad we're able to compete in it. And it has really turned into a lot of these schools that just happen to be coming very, very competitive. So excited for everyone to be a part of that.
Coach, how big of an event is this for you to showcase your program and Loveland High School? And secondly, what are your expectations for your girls in this meet?
Oh, it's huge. This is our home meet. This is the big one. I expect us to compete well, like we have all season. We rise to our level of preparation, and this is no different. I sat down with Brian in the off season, and he said, "How do you see this meet looking? What do you think?" And we brainstormed, and these teams just started coming to mind. And it's no different than what he talked about with lacrosse or any sport around here. We're all blessed to have great support from the community. But if you want to learn, if you want these kids to take it to another level, you have to schedule that way. So, and that's no different in track. So we brought in Princeton and Sycamore, who we expect to compete with at districts. Of course, our ECC is tough. So we don't hide from these schools. We want to see them. We want to run against them. We want to get better. We want to push ourselves, not only as a staff, but as athletes. And what better way to do that than to bolster our home meet and make it super competitive and a lot of fun for our kids to compete in.
And hopefully with that, and I can see it behind you here as we're recording this, you're hoping to have the luck of the Irish on your side.
Thank you,
on the window in the office. I know I would have been remiss if I wouldn't have gotten that in there, that you made sure to point that out before we started recording there. Wants the luck of the Irish on his side there for sure. But nevertheless, a lot of really great stuff here today. Coach Herb Loftman, we certainly appreciate your time and joining us here today. Good luck in the Don DeHart invite this coming week. And Brian will be looking forward to recapping it all the week from now.
Jason, appreciate your time and appreciate Tiger Nation. Thank you very much for having us.
Right. I appreciate it. This is really neat what you guys do for the athletes. It's all about them. So they deserve all the credit in the world. And that man's sitting right there in the visor. So I appreciate you guys just having me on, and I'm blessed to be a part of this.
He knows all the right things to say in his first venture here on the podcast. We'll have him back at some point here. That is girls track coach Herb Loftman and Loveland Athletic Director Brian Knatz joining us for This Week in Loveland Tigers Athletics here on lovelandtigers.org and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.